Hello and welcome to another edition of Conspirator Brock's Pull List. This is my pull list for the week of November 29th, 2017. It's the fifth week this month, so it's kind of a light week overall for comics. I did get a fair amount of books this week due to the fact that a lot of independent titles ship a fair amount of their books on the fifth week, so yeah. But let's get right into it. First up, we have Aquaman Annual #1. So DC's doing a whole bunch of annuals on this fifth week, so this is the first one for the Aquaman Rebirth stuff. Aquaman's been really solid title. Really enjoy it, so yeah. Next up is probably the biggest book of the week, and that is Batman Annual #2 by Tom King. What can I say besides this is already sold out? It's already like a $25 book on eBay. If you are lucky enough to grab a copy, do so. But I can't wait to dive in and read it because Batman Tom King has just been amazing. So yeah. Next up, we have a new miniseries by Kurt Busiek, and that's Batman: Creature of the Night. This is the first issue, so I'm curious to see what Busiek has to bring to the table. It kind of feels reminiscent of his Secret Identity from Superman, so we'll see how this one is. Next up, we have Greg Rucka's Black Magic #9. Yep, Black Magic's okay. I enjoy it, so I'm going to keep going with it. Next up is Eternity #2. The first issue is pretty interesting, so I'm curious to see what issue 2 entails. But overall, all the Valiant books are fairly good to really good stuff, so... Next up, we have Green Arrow Annual #1, Happy Holidays. So I don't know if it's a holiday-themed one or if it's just kind of a solo story, but we'll see. DC's annuals have been fairly decent in the past handful of years, so yep. Next up, we have Hal Jordan and the Green Lantern Corps #33. This starts Twilight of the Guardians story arc. Hal Jordan's just been a really solid title. Vendetti has found his footing with Green Lantern. Yeah, what can I say? Next up, Justice League of America Annual #1. Yep, looks like Black Canary and Lobo are switching dialogue, but who knows? So we'll check out the annual and see how that one is. Next up, we have Lazarus X+66 #5 of 6. These are kind of this mini-series out of Lazarus has been pretty interesting to develop other characters in the Lazarus universe. Rucka's just done a really solid job on the book overall, and so yep. Next up is Manifest Destiny #32. Love Manifest Destiny. It's just been a really solid title. If you're curious about it, the handful of trades are out. I think 3 or 4 volumes are out already. But it is a solid book. I can't wait to get hardcovers. Next up, we have a one-shot from DC, and that's the New Talent Showcase 2017. DC put one of these out last year, and I enjoyed it. So I'm gonna grab this one up and see how it is. There's a bonus story in here by Scott Snyder. So yeah, I don't know if stores ordered a lot of these, but I'm always curious to see what the new talent is, what they're doing, and some of I've seen on Twitter some of the art from this, so I'm curious to it would look pretty good, so we'll see. But again, if you're curious and you want to check out some new talent, definitely a book to pick up. Next is Sacred Creatures #5. This book is just been a really solid read. I've really enjoyed it. It's a ginormously thick book, but at $5 I don't mind so much. But yeah, first 4 issues were solid, so can't wait to continue with that one. Next up, we have Star Wars Adventures #4. This is the Star Wars book from IDW, just more for kids, so it's basically for me and my son. Next up, we have a title that was we were shorted a few weeks ago, and that's Super Sons #10. So I finally snagged that because we finally got our copies in. And of course, this week the Super Sons Annual comes out, so I get a double dose of Super Sons this week. Yeah. And finally on the pull list is War Mother #4. So War Mother's been pretty good. Been enjoying it so far. So yeah, again, the Valiant books are good, solid reads. If you're curious about any of the characters, I would highly recommend picking those up. I did get a couple variants this week. The first one is the Manifest Destiny variant for number 32, and this is the Walking Dead homage variant. This is an homage to the Michonne Chained Up Zombies cover that they did. So, yeah, I like that one. And Super Sons 10 from the other week had a variant, so I picked that one up there. I did grab a trade that came out today, and that is The Flash by Jeff Johns, Volume 4. I believe this is the last one of the Johns stuff, because it goes from 201 to 213, but I'm not completely sure on that, but I do believe it is. Yeah, really, really solid, good stuff from Jeff Johns. I know they had the omnibuses that came out that were weirdly priced and weirdly sized, so I was hesitant to get those, even though they were really nice looking. But again, they got 4 of these nice, good sized soft covers out there. If you're curious and want to read that Jeff Johns Flash stuff, go ahead and snag those up. I did get a t-shirt this week, and it's my first green shirt in a long time, but it is, of course, the Lying Cat from Saga, so I decided to grab that shirt there, so can't wait to wear that one around. Lying! Really wish we had that in politics. Yep, so that's pretty much it for my pull list stuff I brought home. So now let's move on to the read list. So the read list for this week is Kill or Be Killed, number 14 is first up on that list by Ed Brubaker and Sean Phillips. Just an amazing, amazing title. If you have not yet checked it out, do go snag up those first 2 trades. It's a really solid series that is just, I don't know, it's just really well written, really well drawn, and just the tone, everything is perfect in that book. So next up is a title that I picked up to read, but I'm most likely just going to start getting it, and that's Mystik U number 1. This is kind of a interesting take on Zatanna and some of the mystical characters in the DC universe. I've actually already read this, and I really enjoyed it, so I think it's going to bump up to my pull list. Next up we have Old Man Logan number 31. This is the Scarlet Samurai Part 1 story arc. Yep, it's Bryson. I don't know how to say it. Bryson. He's been doing a decent job since Lemire left Old Man Logan, so I'm going to keep going with it. Next up we have Star Wars Mace Windu, the Jedi of the Republic, number 4. It's just been another solid miniseries from Marvel for Star Wars, so I did grab a handful of books that we didn't have enough copies of for me to take in the week they came out, but they've moved to the current shelf, so I can actually borrow them. But first up is Astonishing X-Men number 5. Astonishing X-Men has been written by Charles Soule. It's been fairly solid, dealing with the Shadow King and all that stuff, but really, really fun stuff. Next up we have Deadpool versus Old Man Logan. If you want a book where an old guy and a sarcastic guy, humorous sarcastic guy, just yell at each other, this is the book for you. It's interesting, it's funny. It's probably the only Deadpool title I've any interest in reading, and that's only because Old Man Logan's in it. But for the most part, I've enjoyed the first 2 issues. Next up we have Iron Fist number 74. 73 was pretty good, so I decided to keep going with it. But Iron Fist has been fairly decent since they relaunched number 1 and then changed it over to Legacy numbering. Again, Bryson, however you pronounce his name, has been doing a decent job on it. So next up we have Garth Ennis's Punisher, the Platoon miniseries. First few issues have been good, so this issue's 3, so yep, that one was solid too. Next up is Thanos number 13. Thanos Wins Part 1. I'm not sure how I feel about this book after Lemire left. I'm going to probably give it one more, but it wasn't as good as Lemire stuff, and it's... all this focus on Thanos recently is just kind of, I feel like it's just from the movie stuff, and not kind of naturally coming out of anything, so yeah, it just feels a little forced. Next up we have X-Men Blue number 15. This finishes the Mojo World story arc. Kind of a letdown, I've already read it, with kind of how the story ends. It's just kind of blah, done. Yeah, we'll see. Next up we have X-Men Gold number 16. This is the Negative Zone War starts here. Interesting book, or interesting read. X-Men Gold's been a fine book. It's been okay. Nothing grandiose, nothing great, nothing, oh, I gotta shout to the rooftops, this is the best thing ever. But it's probably a lot better than most other titles that have come out. And finally this week, the new previews comes out. This is previews 351 for December 17. So of course the Kick-Ass is on the main side, and then the flip side is Dark Knight Metal. I think they really should have put the Dark Knight Metal one on their front, but you know, hey, I don't pick it, they do. You can also grab up your copy of Marvel Previews, and also the Image Plus came out as well. So again, for those of you who don't know what Previews is, or kind of just like, well, whatever, Previews is basically what you really need to look through to kind of know what's coming. You don't necessarily need to read each thing and spoil yourself on stuff, but for the most part, you know, for just flipping through it for stuff that you might want, or like toys or merchandise or shirts or games or anything, it's a perfect way for you to look through and find out what you want. You don't necessarily need to buy a copy. Most stores should have a copy that you can peruse and then basically place an order with. Stores will differ on how they take previews orders. Some will take a deposit, some will take the full amount up front. But yeah, also it's a good way to help the store know how many to order of specific issues, because I know that as of late, especially with kind of the flop that was Marvel Legacy, and a lot of independent books just not really hitting any key points, or like there's no real key solid book coming out of the independent area right now, mainly Image, Dark Horse, IDW, Dynamite, all that stuff. If you want those titles, you need to let your shop know so that they can order it for you. Numerous titles are ordered just for subs, and if you are a sub like that, you need to make sure that you keep coming in to get those titles, because if you're the only person that's subbing to a book and you stop your subscription, basically the store's out those copies, because it doesn't magically sell when they put it back on the shelf. Because if they haven't had it on the shelf, then people are going to go, oh, look, here's issue 4 of something, but they don't have 1, 2, or 3, so why do I need to pick? I don't want to pick this up. So it's really important to kind of immerse yourself in what's coming out. I know it's difficult because you don't want to be spoiled. You like kind of just knowing in general kind of what big things are coming, but you don't want any kind of spoilers heading your way. But give previews a chance to flip through it, see what's coming out, see what you think you're gonna like, and then you can order it from there. Oh man, I've got a busy day ahead of me so far. My son has a birthday party to go to, so I gotta wrap this up fairly quickly. But thanks for watching. Please like, share, and subscribe to the channel. Leave your comments down in the comment section below here. I try to get to those as often as I can. Normally it's every Tuesday or Wednesday when I get a chance to sit down and actually do this stuff. You can follow me on Twitter. My handle is @BrockSager. You can also listen to me on the Comics Conspiracy podcast, which we just finished recording episode 334, or 304, however you want to say it. And we talked about Punisher and Runaways. We also talked about the new Marvel CEO kind of, what's the word I'm looking for? Drama or scandal stuff. It's not really scandal, it's just kind of humorous. But we talk at length about that stuff. We also talk a little bit about Doomsday Clock, which is amazing. And if you haven't gotten it, you need to go buy Doomsday Clock. Go buy Doomsday Clock. It's fucking amazing. Yeah. You can find that at www.geekbox.net, or there'll be a link in the description below so you can check out that podcast. You can help me and my fellow conspirators out at www.patreon.com/comicconspiracy. For as little as $1 a month, you help us with hosting, getting food sometimes, and getting some products. So we do appreciate all our Patreon backers. Thank you so much for your support and your patrionism. It helps keep us going and stuff like that. Yeah, that's pretty much it. Tired, just off today. So, yep. I'll see you next week.